welcome. It's Oops, All Dragons. What are we doing today, Varun?
I think they'll probably be able to tell by the title. But yeah, we're talking you and me. But this is gonna just right up front. This is gonna be the very last episode of Oops All Dragons for a couple different reasons. Mostly like scheduling and life changes. You're super busy, Lisa. I'm now even busier in my life. We're both getting ready to... I've just moved. You're getting ready to move.
Again.
Yeah. So, yeah, just like, real life. And we started this thing as a fun little thing to do because we wanted to talk about D&D and people and all the stuff around that. And now we just don't have the time for it.
Yeah, it's been a fun 3 years. And, initially, the freedom in our schedules that the pandemic did give us, that really helped. But, yeah, no, life comes at you fast.
Yeah. I sound like I'm in a cave because I'm in our new place and there's nothing in this room right now to stop the sound. Which I do like. Like, we have a room now. Before we were both sharing, basically a 1-bedroom apartment. Broke millennial life. But now we've upgraded slightly, and now we have 2 bedrooms, and this is my office now. And it's big and spacious and all of that. And it's just like
you get to fill it full of shit.
I know what I want to put. It's just like I have a whole wall where I want to put displays
space for your Gundams.
Exactly. Yes. Of course you know me. I have one side over there for painting and actually building, and then the other side for display and just to look.
For your shame.
Oh no, that my pile of shame is in the closet, so it's out of sight, out of mind for now. No. It's so large, but.
That's why the pile of shame gets bigger, because you can't get it out of sight. You gotta put it in front of you.
But I've been cutting down on just video games in general, which was a pretty big time sink on certain things to just focus on building. Yeah. So big life change right there. Just hey.
Yeah.
I have room and time, and
Wait, but have you picked up Tears of the Kingdom?
No, not yet. That's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, where it's my 2 of my friends have picked it up and they've already, and it's only been out for 2 or 3 weeks. They've already sunk over 200 hours into it, and I'm literally, how you both have full-time jobs?
They just disappeared. The work and Tears of the Kingdom, and that's it. Yeah. Oh, Zelda. No, that's exactly why. A lot of those games. So Elden Ring, I know that's a game that I'd probably love because I really like Bloodborne. Yeah. And seeing Elden Ring, oh yeah, I love that game. And Skyrim was one of these games, and then Legend of Zelda. I've never played Skyrim. Of just it's gonna be a time sink if I get into this. It's just all of my time will go into this. All of my free time will go into this dumb thing. Which, in the grand scheme of things is dumb, but if you like it, of course, just like anything, that's a hobby. Okay. But I have so many hobbies, and I have one that's very expensive that needs to be built. So I'm not doing any large games anymore, at least at the moment.
I have one main hobby that could also be described as in that same way, where it's expensive and just requires a lot of time and needs to be built and put together. Oh boy,
you're making haute couture or all that stuff.
Please. Oh please. I wish I could. I could at least sell it if I did, but no, I'm making garbage for myself.
Hey, it's for you at least. Yeah, just like the models. They're not for anyone except me and all the people at the arcade that I show it off to.
Exactly. My clothes are for me and the people at my job where they go, "Do you sew?" And then I go, "Yeah, I've made everything I'm wearing." And they're like, "Okay, so you could make a full, wedding dress."
A ball gown
and
for
I'm
me.
No, absolutely not. Be serious. This is 3 rectangles I put together.
Do you want to pay me several $1,000s to do this?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. People. Hey, can we sidebar? Is this a sidebar episode?
Sure.
Is this the episode of sidebars?
Sure.
Where, can I just like, it's crazy to me how people literally like don't think about clothes at all, because it's something that I've always been so hyper aware of, but I realized that I'm the weird one. Like, it's not normal to think about clothes as much as I do. And so people come in to my job and they're like, you know, getting a dress made for an event or like getting a suit or something. And like they've never thought about what goes into making anything. And so they'll ask questions that make me want to turn to them and go, have you ever worn clothes? Have you ever worn clothes? Because they're like standing in front of the wall of denim. And they go, is this what jeans are made of?
Oh my god.
And I'm like, but,
you're wearing them right now!
You're literally! Like, I had a woman the other day ask me if blue denim was blue.
Oh boy.
I'm like, oh.
I don't know if that's like a have you worn clothes thing. It's like, have you like...
Are you colorblind? Are you okay?
Did you graduate school?
Like, it's just like there's no like people have a hard time with like the logic, the pattern recognition and logic put togetherness of it. Of, you know, doing like, maybe it's like more complicated. It's like 2 + 2. It's not 1 + 1. It's 2 + 2. You know,
a little more complex.
Like. A lot of the store is organized by color, and so people will come up to me with, like, something that they need to match to, and they're like, do you have this color? And I literally just sort of point at the wall, and I go, do you see this color? Did you look? Like, I have people, like, pull on fabric, and they go, is this stretchy? Meanwhile, it's literally stretching in their hands, and I'm like, well, is it? You literally have it in your hands, and you're stretching it. Is it stretchy? Why are you asking me? It's in your hands!
Oh my god. So like...
And then, like, so, like, there's, like, the dames, like, there's, like, you know, the older women, you know, getting clothes made for them and stuff, and like they're sourcing fabric to take to some tailor that's gonna make something for them. But then we also have because here in LA we have a couple of like fashion schools, most famously FIDM, which I don't know, it's like Fashion Institute of Design something. I don't know. I don't care. I think these kids, there's no such thing as like a degree for being an influencer, so fashion school is the closest one. I think that's what it is. Like, getting a degree in fashion design is the closest thing to getting a degree in being an influencer. Okay. Because, like, you have to take marketing classes and stuff. So, like, they're in there, and, like, then they have to, you know, complete these assignments and, you know, complete, mini collections and all this, and so they're coming into shop for that. And they're asking me questions where I'm like, you're literally paying thousands of dollars at an accredited school, and you don't know how many inches are in a yard.
Oh, boy.
Really?
It's 36, by the way.
It's 36. There's 3 feet, 12 inches in a foot, 36 inches in a yard, babe. If
you're going metric, it's what, 3.2?
If you're going metric, it's slightly less than a meter. It's like 93
yeah, I'm saying a meter is 3.2 feet.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not hard to learn these things.
That really should be first day stuff. Honestly, that really should be... You should know that before going to fashion school. Mm-hmm. You should know how many feet.
Basic measurements, yeah.
You should. Like, I've had kids who are in this fashion school who call themselves designers, like full-chested, call themselves designers.
Okay.
And they ask like what rayon is. And I'm like, that's like, fine, that's like a little bit more advanced, like a normal person's not gonna know that, but you're literally out here calling yourself a designer, saying that you're starting a collection, and you don't know that rayon is a, you know, it's a plant fiber that's gone through like a treatment. Like, it's a semi-synthetic material. It's not as bad as polyester, but not as, like, wasteful as cotton or silk. Like, okay, you don't know this. And then, like, asking, like, literally pulling out a piece of leather where, like, you can see in the shape, in the outline of this hide, where, like, the animal's legs would have been, and going, is this real leather?
Oh my god.
Bro, what? Or, like, the reverse of, like, looking at something on a roll and, like, something that, like, could have never come off of an actual animal. That's, like, it's on a roll. Like, a roll of paper. Like, a roll
They don't
of
roll
fake
the leather up.
A roll of fake leather that's, like, perfectly square on either side and continuous for 50 yards. And then
this is a big
this real
cow.
Leather? Is this genuine leather? Yeah, there's a 50-yard long cow.
This is a big cow.
Big cow. Be serious.
The only time I've ever run into something like this was when I was getting fitted for a suit. And, you know, because you don't, most people, unless you're in certain fields, you don't wear suits all the time.
Right.
So at that point, they asked me, okay, yeah, do you like this material or do you like that? And, you know, and if you're going really bespoke, you know, inside, outside, you know, all of that. So that's...
Silk linings, Super 160 wool, like, I love suiting. Sorry, continue.
No, that's cool. So that's the only time I've ever run it where I felt that inclination of, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
That's normal. You're a normal person. Like, that's normal to, like, I don't know. But what I always end up telling people who, like, come in and they're in that situation where it's like, no, my tailor told me to come out and get something. I'm like, it's not really that complicated. It's like, this is the material that you're gonna choose from, and then there's a bunch of options, and you just gotta pick what feels good. Touch it, and if you think, yes, I would enjoy wearing this against my skin, then it's right. Like, there's people who come in and they want me to just pull something out and go, this is what you're going to make your suit out of, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna show you where this lives, and you have to look for it. Because I'm not wearing it. You're shopping. It's going on you. You have to touch it. This is not a museum. Please.
Put a big sign. Put that on a big sign in the store. You have to touch it. This is not a museum.
Yeah, it's like you have to shop for it. Like, I have people coming in shopping for their wedding dresses, and they want me to tell them what they should make their wedding dress out of. I'm like, I don't know. What do you like?
Yeah.
What makes you feel pretty?
Why did you come here in the first place if you didn't know?
Do you want and then it's like, okay, well, do you want, like, fitted or flowy or stiff or, you know, big skirt, little skirt, no skirt pants, like risque top, or like what do you want? And then they end up basically wanting me to design for them. I'm like, no, that's a job people pay a lot of money for. I was gonna say
again,
and I get paid minimum wage,
several $1,000s. No,
exactly.
Okay,
I am not designing your wedding dress for you because you don't know what you want. You come in here with the person who's gonna make that thing for you. They're gonna walk you through it because you're not paying me to do that. All that I'm getting paid to do is pull the bolt of fabric off the wall and cut the yardage that you tell me to cut. Are you crazy? Okay, I will go through. I will pull out the things that I like that I would make a wedding dress out of, and then you're gonna hate it. Because we're two different people. And you're gonna think that fabric feels awful against the skin, doesn't look nice, I don't like flowers, I don't like the sparkly, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, get fucked. I don't know. Anyways.
That is odd, yeah, to come to, like, a fabric place and not at least have an idea of what you want. Like, if you don't know the exact thing, sure, but like,
my favorite is I'm making a dress. And you go, okay.
Kind.
I don't know. Is it for a specific event? No. I just want a nice dress. Okay. Do you have like a particular color? No. Do you have like a shape? No. Okay, then I can't help you. Walk around until you find something you like. Shop. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
Do you guys get like commission on like, the stuff you sell?
Yeah, and then that's like part of the problem where it's like, okay, you have to like gauge when a person comes in like that of like, is this person gonna buy a lot of stuff, or is this person gonna waste 3 hours of my time where I could have been helping people who are buying stuff, where I could have been making sales, but instead I'm walking around with this person who has never actually thought about the clothes that they put on in their life, and this is the first time that they're realizing that clothes is made of fabric, that clothes have to be made.
Clothes don't just show up.
Yeah. And that there's a lot of different, and that there are a lot of different kinds of fabrics, and that there are a lot of options, and that like, because people come in and they get really overwhelmed of like, oh, I didn't realize that there really is just, you have to make, and that means that there's so many options, and like, I've never thought about it, and like, I don't even know where to begin, and like, I ask discovery questions, and they don't even know how to answer like, people sometimes look at me like I have 6 heads when I ask them what their favorite color is. Or like, okay, this thing that you want to wear, are you going to be wearing it in the summer or in the winter? Do you like blue? Like, do you care if it wrinkles?
Do you like blue?
Do you like it when stuff is close to your body? Do you... Because some people have sensory issues. I have sensory issues. Do you care if it's like slippery? Do you care if it's that, you know, nylon stuff that makes noise? And then like I'll say that, and they'll go, what do you mean?
Oh,
I'm like,
my God.
have you ever worn like a windbreaker? And you know, like those jackets that make like the swishy noise, and they're like, huh? And I'm like, oh, you've never worn clothes in your life.
Have you worn clothes?
Have you ever worn clothes in your life?
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
That's the thing that's the thing that's keeping me from recording this podcast is doing that for 40 hours a week.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? We should just do a podcast about this. Just like, what is your week been like, Lisa? What does someone ask you this week?
Oh my God. Well, it ends up getting really repetitive after a while. And then, like, you know, there are the people who are cool and, like, interesting. And I've gotten to meet, like people who I've, like, followed online for a long time. And I've, like, followed along with their work for a long time. Like, and sometimes it's funny because it's, like, I'll see somebody in the store and they're being helped by somebody else, and I'm like, I feel like I recognize this person from somewhere, but I don't know where, and so I let it go, and then, like, a week later I see on Instagram, like, the garment that they made with the fabric that they bought, and I'm like, shit! I knew it was them! It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a terrible time, but it's a good time.
It's cool to see that stuff, and now that I'm down here doing more stuff for Flynn's, like we're doing a gunpla contest this week, so it's a kit bash one, so it's like a community one. Everyone brings in all the old like extra parts that they don't need anymore, and people take them all and have to make, you know, a presentable new model out of that. So that's like the big kind of contest art project we're working on here, of like, yeah, who can make the best version of these? I'm a judge, so I'm not making one this time. And then I also met Darth Vader. Oh?
I've met him too.
I know, yeah. We both met, yeah. You've met pre-burn Darth Vader. I've met post-burn Darth Vader. The fella who actually plays in the suit of Darth Vader for Obi-Wan.
Fuck, what's his name? Tall
yeah.
Russian guy.
Super tall Russian guy. Yes.
Yes, he's such a sweetheart. I love him.
Yeah, I met him.
He's amazing.
Because they had an event at Flynn's. They're like, we have Darth Vader. It's not James Earl Jones. It's not Hayden Christensen. It's the dude who played him and who played the dude in Guardians of the Galaxy, the very first one, who takes the prison guard who takes Star-Lord's headphones and is just like listening to them until he comes and takes them back. He's
got like a really classic Russian. It's like Ivan or something.
Yeah, I forgot off the top, but just like, yeah.
Oh, I feel terrible.
You actually worked with him, did you?
Yeah, I definitely like held his mask or something at some point.
Like technically.
Yeah.
I met him in the arcade. He really likes arcade games.
Yeah, no.
He likes like the I think it's like the sniper game. Like he really got into that one while he was waiting for his like event to start. I was like, cool. Hey Darth Vader, what's up?
No. That guy is like terrifyingly tall, but he's very soft spoken.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
He's like really nice. I'm like, hey, yeah, I like your stuff. He's like, yeah. He's like really appreciative and all that. I'm like, oh shit, cool. I forget if it's like he's a dancer or like his he had like a movement coach that like she was a dancer and she was like this little like Russian lady who she was just like, I don't know, she was incredible. She just had this vibe around her where it was like, I'm a little scared of you, but also I want to hear everything you have to say about literally anything. Tell me your stories.
No. Look at us. Look at us across the nation.
Meeting Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then just kind of circling back to the whole reason that we've had this of like, we're busy, we're doing other stuff, and then D&D's kind of taking a back seat, at least for now, in a lot of cases. I don't know.
I hit a little bit of honestly D&D burnout. Recently, I've been, like, getting the craving again to play, so I'm, like, looking into local, like, doing stuff locally, just because, like, I miss playing in person, honestly. Yeah.
Next time you're in town, we can have the next session in our decade-long campaign.
Listen, don't say that, because that's about to be true.
God damn it. It's like half a decade at this point.
Yeah, it's like a solid 5 years, because we started, 2018? 2019? Yeah, no.
You come visit your mom, we'll play in person. But, like, yeah, it's hard to substitute that in-person feel. Again, we've said it before, like, online is totally fine, but, like, it's a different vibe. And sometimes you want to switch it up and, like, actually, talk to real people and be in a real place with them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well,
I've been wrapping up games. Just wrapped up one for a bunch of new players out of Flynn's who wanted to try some stuff online. So that was like 6-7 sessions long. That was pretty fun. Got to throw a little campaign, knock that out. And then Saul finished his campaign that he was running for Orbital Blues. Very good system, but we're done with that. Don't think we're going to go back to that anytime soon, just because, again, time, schedule, that type of thing. And they wanted to change stuff up at the end anyway. And then our main campaign, which is the main one, that's always forever on hold until we can finally find some time. But then just been wrapping up all these other games that have just been like hanging on, and I'm just running some stuff in the store now. So it's basically kind of like an ongoing campaign that people can drop in and drop out of like, this town got all messed up because of a thing that a player did at some point. And they're fixing it. And yeah, it's just been ongoing for about a year, but like kind of intermittently. And that's the only real D&D thing I've been doing. Of like, yeah, it's kind of an ongoing story, but it's no specific characters, no specific player characters. The town's the character, and that's what we're trying to do. That's my only like RPG thing that I'm doing right now, and it helps that I get paid to do it. Yeah. Unfortunately,
That is absolutely a factor in this cruel, cruel world, that it's hard to make time for things that don't pay the rent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's why between, like, Gunpla, longer games, and D&D, at least the longer video games had to get the axe, because, like, splitting my time between that and work and, a wife and all of that. And traveling outside the country, I'm going to be doing that pretty soon, because my cousin's getting married in Trinidad, so we're going to be spending some time there. I think it's the first time Nova's ever going to be not international, because technically they've been to Mexico, and I think Canada, but, like, fly into a new country and introducing Nova to all the other half of my family that couldn't come to the reception because they had another wedding that was coming up in a couple of months that we're going to now. So, like, busy.
Yeah.
I really liked your fabric talk, though.
I would start a fashion podcast, but that kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. It's such, like, it's an inherently visual
It's
medium.
a very visual thing. And I mean, you could do like a video or like a stream on YouTube.
Let's not get crazy. I'm not doing video editing. Let's not get crazy.
No, don't edit. It's just pure stream of consciousness. You throw up something on the screen, there it is. No editing. Just goes up as is.
No.
Well, so we would go for about 30 minutes. So I think let's get our last thoughts. So, like, overall, how was the podcasting experience for you, Lisa? Because this is both of our first podcasts, right?
Yeah, it was fun, and I'd do it again.
if we have the time.
Yeah.
If we have the freaking free time to do it. And you know what? Let's go back into our formula just a little bit from your side. If there's someone looking to get into podcasting, not D&D, what's some advice you'd give them?
Oh boy. I don't know. Just kind of do it.
Okay, just like D&D.
Just kind of get into it.
Just like DMing. Just do it.
Yeah. I'd say, like, don't worry too much about, like, a formula or anything to begin initially. Just kind of get your bearings and, like, get used to what feels like a little bit like talking to yourself alone in your room. Mm-hmm. And, like, figure out what works, what feels more natural to you. Does it feel more natural to you to, like, literally just have a conversation with whoever it is that you're talking to, or to, like, talk to the audience directly? Because I've seen it done both ways. Mm-hmm. I think, like, also, just, like, if you are a person who, like, enjoys listening to podcasts, listen to podcasts also with the ear of, like, trying to listen to, like, what is it that these people are doing that I find enjoyable, and how can I, like, take that? Because that's kind of a lot of what I've honestly done, is just, like, this, my approach to this is just, like, a pastiche of, it's a collage of just, like, all the different, like, podcasting styles and the podcasters that I listen to, put together. Mm-hmm. Which is, like, why we do the Overlong Marin, because when I used to listen to My Favorite Murder, that's, like, I loved listening to them just go on about what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, the commentary style itself is more, how did this get made kind of a thing. The interview style that I like is, like, the long defunct podcast, The Nerdist podcast. Ah. That's, like, my model of, like, interview. That's why I like the more conversational stream of consciousness kind of thing. Like, a great example of that, of, like, a current podcast for that is, I Said No Gifts, where, like, he has people come on, he does a little bit of, like, what I've been up to, and then he introduces his guest, and then somehow there's a hour-long conversation with no, like, real structure, where, like, the only real, like, segment that he does is, like, the joke of the podcast is, I said no gifts, but the guest always brings a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at some point he goes, well, you know, like, whatever, he does his little, like, smooth transition into it, where he's, like, you know, doing this bit of, like, I can't believe you've done this to me. I said no gifts, and here you are. Is this a gift? You come up my driveway, you have this bag in your hand. Is this a gift for me? And then the the guest is left to, like, jokingly explain that they don't follow the rules, or, like, I'm from the South, you know, you don't come to somebody's house empty-handed, or, you know, like, some version of that. And then you discuss, then he discusses whatever the gift is. I love that. I love, like, an unstructured conversation with a little bit of, like, okay, this is what we're here for, but it leads to more conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I feel like you can get a lot out of that, especially since this podcast is, like, we're in, like, we're having kind of more specific conversations, where it's, like, we're talking specifically about people's experience with tabletop and all that. Like, there's slightly more structure and slightly more direction, but I feel like even then, we do still have, like, the freedom of, like, having a little bit more of a
Let's talk about Rose's experience killing a brown recluse spider for about 30 minutes.
Listen, sometimes it still ends up becoming topical. You know, inevitably, you know, people are people and nothing exists in a vacuum, so, like, you can have these conversations that seem completely, like, unrelated, but they are, you know, because this is, like, part of this person's experience, and, like, these things inform how we approach everything, not just, like, playing this game, but just, like, interactions and stuff. And so this is just a long way of saying, like, if you're going to start a podcast, have fun and don't think too hard about it. It doesn't have to be complicated.
You said when I asked for advice, you're just like, I don't know, and you just went on for just, like, 10 minutes about advice.
Well, mostly I went on for 10 minutes about other podcasts that I like.
I think it's some good advice of just, like, you know, have a type of structure that you want in mind. Have fun. Don't be too beholden to one format. Like, don't be afraid to change. I think that's one thing I'd throw in there. Like, yeah, if it's feeling too rigid, yeah, get looser with it. Or if it's, like, if your format's gone completely off the rails, and you want to get back to the main topic, like, don't feel afraid to. I think that's all good. And then from my perspective, the only other things I'd throw in are, if you're having a guest on, and yeah, it's very freeform, still, but you have certain things that you do want to talk to them about, make a note of that and keep that to the side, because there have been times where we've had guests on and there was things I wanted to ask them, like things that either came up or things that I knew beforehand I wanted to ask them. This never came up because we got into some other thing and the conversation just went on, and then they got off and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even ask them about the thing. Charlene was a big one, talking about, like, D&D and therapy. There's a whole bunch of other stuff I wanted to ask her. I just never got into it.
But that's the nature of conversation, I think, is, like, we still ended up getting a very interesting conversation out of that. I think this is, like, where we differ on this, is that I think it's okay to have certain things where you're like, shit, I forgot to ask about that.
Sure.
I think it's okay to let the conversation flow naturally, because sometimes when you try to get back on the track, it like disrupts the flow of conversation in such a way where it's, like, a little bit jarring.
No, I get it. I'm not saying it's bad,
right?
But just for me, just, like, being the person, like, wanting to talk to this person and get their insight. You know, there were just certain things that, you know, I wanted to know, and just, like, we got off and I was like, fuck, that thing I want to know.
Yeah.
I didn't find a way to shoehorn it in.
Yeah, the middle ground is, like, over time, and this comes with time of, like, you know, if you listen to other people who are really good at, like, interviewing people, talk about it, over time you learn to recognize beats in the conversation where you can transition from topic from topic to topic more
Smoothly.
more naturally. Yeah. Where, like, it doesn't feel like you're abruptly cutting off the conversation to get back on track. Where it's like you were on an interesting line, but because you need to get back on track, you're cutting off that conversation. So that can feel a little bit, like, harsh. But with time, you develop that sense of, like, I can steer the conversation back to where it is, where I needed to go.
Yep. And on that same line, the last thing I would recommend is, if you're just doing it for fun, just do it for fun and just like post it up wherever you want, whatever platform you want. If you're trying to get more engagement, more social engagement, have someone, probably not you, in charge of handling the social media, just because unless you have a lot of time, it's very time consuming to and I would also suggest if this then that, it's an online service / widget that I finally found after like so many years of doing this, and recently found it, of if I post up something on the YouTube channel, it'll automatically cross-post to Twitter and Facebook and yada, yada, yada. So that does a lot of the work for you. But still, you have to, come up with the content and make it engaging and all of that. So if you're looking to do that sort of thing, unless you have a lot of time, have some folks to help. And, if it's a passion project, great. If not, or if it's a passion project, get folks who will help. Otherwise, it's just like all that social media stuff is like very time consuming. So just that's my other thing of like taking into account if you're trying to get monetized or anything like that. It's very time consuming.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but in that same vein, with all that said, if you don't care about that, then you don't have to care about that.
Yeah, like I said.
If all you care about is just like, no, I just want to have these interesting conversations, have them recorded for posterity. That's fine too.
I think that was our main goal. I think we accomplished that. Like that'll always be there on the YouTubes, and we have our own, hard copies and everything. Yeah. I think that's it for. I don't think I have any other major advice that I would throw out there. There's a lot of like technical stuff and whatever, but like that's all going to be, person to person, whatever program you use, whatever mic you use, start out with a shitty headset mic and then go and see how it goes and go from there. Like all the other stuff is the tougher stuff. The technical stuff you can look up, and that's another thing I found of just like, it's the technical stuff is kind of finicky, but also just like not nearly the biggest thing you need to worry about at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you have an okay setup, you're usually fine.
Yeah.
And you can just, like Lisa says, put on the headset, turn on YouTube or whatever if you want, or whatever recorder, just talk. And there you go, you're podcasting.
Yeah.
All right. Any other last words of wisdom, of farewell, anything?
No wisdom. No wisdom left. Wisdom has left the building.
You got all your wisdom out with the advice and with the fabric store.
Kind of.
Yeah, for me, I just want to thank everyone. Thank everyone who listened, subscribed. I think we would have had our last penultimate dating episode when this comes out. But yeah, if you listen to us and if you liked our stuff, and even if you gave us some money, because we did get a little bit of money on Patreon. Not a whole lot, but some.
Hey, that's still some.
I was gonna say, if you support us at all to help us keep the freaking lights on, appreciate you, and commenting and all that crap. This was a fun little ride.
Yeah, we had fun.
All right. Well, for the last time then.
Goodbye.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
The movie's over. All right.
The ride's over. Get out. Oops All Dragons is a group effort. Our show is edited by Noel Hernandez, our theme was composed by Brendan Lyons, and our logo art is by Azif On Q. Links to more of their work and their social media will be in the show notes. Find us on YouTube and Spotify, and check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Oops All Dragons.